ហើយ
Menu Live ក្រុមហ៊ុនធានារ៉ាប់រងអាយុជីវិតដែលលោកអ្នកជឿទុកចិត្ត
Good evening, Excellency, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again to Cambodia Global Dialogue of Southeast Asia TV. Tonight, I have once again the pleasure to have my very good friend, Ambassador from India, Dinesh Patnaik, to come and have a nice dialogue with me. And, you know, on a topic that is quite interesting. It's happening in India in next month. It happened in Cambodia a few months ago. It's about, democracy, about election, the impact on the economy and how country move on. And I think it'd be good, to have a perspective from, I wouldn't say an outsider because Ambassador is here quite a while already. So he's quite seasoned on the Cambodian political scene. But let's move on to have this discussion. Ambassador, my good friend, welcome.
No, thank you. We had an excellent dialogue last time, and I hope to continue the same dialogue.
I have feedback from people. They say that you are a great historian. Yeah, you know in and out the historical, perspective on Cambodia, on India, and Cambodia and India.
No,
it's
thank you.
Interesting.
No, for me, the main thing is I love Cambodia.
Yes.
I really like this country. I like the people. I like the climate. I like the food. I like everything about this country. So for me, anything you like, you want to learn more.
Yes, indeed. Speaking of learning, again, that's a feedback. We have a lot of feedback from our last discussion.
I also got a lot of feedback.
Knowledge, and I can't help but referring to what you mentioned last time we say about, but India provide technology transfer, 1,000 years ago. Interesting.
We're still doing it.
You're still doing it. Yes, no, but it's interesting in the context of, say, democracy, general election. Cambodia went through this last year, mid of last year. We still, try to find a solution now. India will go for general election soon.
We should be having it in April or May.
Okay.
It is the largest election in the world.
Yes, indeed.
In 2009, when we had our last elections, there were 714 million voters.
714 million.
So this time probably we will have about 750 million voters.
My God.
Almost 1 million polling booths.
My God.
And about 1.5 million electronic voting machines.
Electronic
voting machines.
Interesting.
And the people needed to do this election, about 5 million people. You just need those people.
You need 5 million staff
to conduct the election for 750 million people. It's huge. Even I myself, being an Indian, sometimes I'm amazed at the scale of what the elections are. It's huge. It's huge. But I'm proud that we do it very well.
Yes.
There is, of course, sporadic violence, there are other issues,
yes.
But elections as such, since the time we have become independent till today, elections have been held regularly, fairly, freely, transparent manner. And if you really look at the history, you're telling me about history, since the Second World War, after the fall, all countries which became independent, we are the only country which has consistently stayed democracy. There is no other country.
No other country.
Every other country has gone through either some coup, some military, some authoritarian rule, but nobody has consistently stayed a democracy after the second. Those countries which became independent after the Second World War.
What's the lesson learned? How?
Well, it's something which has got into the people. Democratic traditions are difficult to imbibe.
Yes.
But it needs two things. It needs institutions, it needs leaders.
Okay.
Leaders who believe in democratic traditions, and they set up institutions which continue the democratic traditions. And democratic traditions are, how to define. The International Parliamentary Union has taken out a list of criteria for what constitutes democratic traditions. And essentially adherence to some of the international laws, which is the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, the International Covenant on Political and Civil Rights. There are certain guidelines. And countries get together to decide on what guidelines to follow or not follow. But at the end of the day, each country has its own way of dealing with things. There will be always people who will say this is not the right way. There will be people who will say this is the right way. But essentially at the end, democracy is a process.
It's a process. It's you touched the heart of it.
And it's a process which keeps on changing.
Yes.
Like Churchill said,
yes.
It's the worst system in the world except that there is no other better. Essentially, it's a system which constantly keeps on reviewing itself.
Yes.
And you have to constantly keep on seeing how it suits your current situation.
Yes.
Many of our laws, I find, have been set up at a time when the country was in a different situation. When the country changes, the laws have to change.
Agreed.
Same we have done. We have over the years graduated from normal system to electronic voting system, and today we have something called a paper trail, voter verifiable paper trail, which means that you vote electronically, but there is also a paper trail which shows you whether the voting has been done in the right pattern or not.
Wow.
So, there are a lot of innovations happening.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, it's the confidence of the people.
Yes.
That if I am fighting in elections or if I'm in elections, am I being fairly treated?
Yes. Exactly.
As long as the people have the confidence, that is it.
Yes. And linking to the confidence level, it's a whole issue of political stability, and behind political stability is a whole issue on how the country can sustain its economic growth, to generate enough stability for the next round of election. Because at the end of the day, it's a circle. Whether it's vicious or virtuous, it is a circle.
See, stability is a chimera.
Yeah.
You can have stability till today,
yeah.
and today something will happen and it will become completely unstable.
Yes.
Stability is we should not look for stability. What you should look for is a stable process.
Stable process.
In which
there's a difference between stability and stable process.
In which both sides, both or the multiple sides. In this country you have two sides today. Many countries like India, we have more than 100 political parties.
You're kidding
so you
me.
Can't say both sides, you have to say 100 sides.
Mine.
So the point with it is, everybody has a stake in continuing the electoral process, having a stable process.
Yes.
One cannot say it's only the responsibility of the government. It is the responsibility of all political players to ensure that the country's political process moves in the right direction. If there is any change, there is a process to change, and you have to follow the process. You can be a revolutionary party or you can be a political party.
Yeah.
If you want revolution, you will get a revolution in which everybody suffers.
Yeah.
Cambodia has gone through much more suffering than any other country in the world.
Exactly.
That is the reason, to a large extent, people are afraid of revolutions.
We don't want to vote that vote to come back.
Come back again. So you need a political process. In a political process, you need mature political parties which understand that there is a system.
Yes.
If the system is not working, you work within the system to change it.
Exactly. You touch another good point. Work within the system to change it.
I will give you an example.
Yeah.
Gandhi,
who
many people in this country have know of.
Yes.
And in fact, the opposition parties actually used Gandhi as a training ground for the demonstration.
Yes.
See, Gandhi believed in non-violence.
Yes.
But he believed also in participation. It is not simply about demonstration, it is not simply about going to the people and telling them that something is wrong, or what Gandhi called non-cooperation movement. We will not cooperate with you.
Yeah.
If the British want to rule this country, you rule it, but we will not cooperate with you. If you don't cooperate, how do you rule the country?
Exactly.
You can't rule the country. But we'll do it in a non-violent manner.
Yes.
The point with it is, Gandhi also participated in 1935 elections.
Yes.
Congress participated. Congress came into the parliament of the British India.
Yes.
And participated in the whole system and tried to make changes from within. The point with it is, nothing stops a political party from demonstrating even after being in the system.
Yes.
So my suggestion to many of the players in Cambodia, which I've been watching very closely, is that there is a system. 1993, the UN put in a system.
Yes.
The system may be flawed and system may be outdated because it was in 1993, today we are in 2014.
Yeah.
It's a complete 20 years later, system may be outdated.
Yes.
We need changes in the system.
Yeah.
There have been certain political parties, or one political party which has been in power for 20 years.
Yeah.
In India, same, the Congress party was in power till 1977, from 47 to 77, 30 years. Then it changed.
Yeah.
New government came. But that doesn't mean that you break the system.
Yes.
You have to work within the system to change.
Yeah.
And
you cannot, work the system if you're outside.
Yeah, nothing stops you from going to the people after being in the system. Because ultimately you are in the system to represent the people.
Yes,
so you can go and demonstrate, you can go and tell people that this is what is wrong, and you change it.
Yeah.
But a confrontation is not good for the country, and we come back to the same thing that you said before, which is that political stability is important.
Yes.
Not the most important, but important.
It's important.
But most important is stable process.
Yes.
People should see that a process is being followed. Even if both sides have confrontation, they're following a process. But if the confrontation is for the sake of confrontation, then there is no process.
Exactly.